I know what you're thinking. It's already February. The beginning of the year has passed. Well, get over it. We're here anyway. Welcome to the video. I'm Sandy Broadwell. Welcome to One for the Books. Yes, as you can see from the title, we're doing the beginning of the year book tag, and it's 18 questions about what I'm planning for 2025. The first question is, how many books do you plan to read in 2025? I don't really set goals based on number of books. I read a good amount, and I don't put a lot of value, I guess, in the numbers. I set my Goodreads goal this year and last year at 50 books, and for the last 3 or 4 years since I've started a Booktube channel, I've easily read over that number. I've read 87 books last year. I read 100 books the year before that, and the year before that I read like 61 books, I think. So 50 is an easily attainable goal, and it shouldn't be a point of stress. The second question is a book I'm likely to reread this year. I have not been in the habit of rereading since I started reading again. So if you've been on my channel since the beginning, you know that I was coming off of a multi-year reading slump. And so I really just started reading again in 2022 when I started this channel. I feel like I'm so far behind all of the books that were published over the years that I was not really reading. So I'm not in the habit of rereading yet. I feel like I want to get several more years of reading under my belt before I really turn back and start rereading books. All that to say, I probably won't be rereading anything this year. Question number 3 is a priority read for 2025. I did a whole 25 books to read in 2025 video, so you can see most of my priority reads there. I will say my priority classic that I want to read this year is The Count of Monte Cristo, because I want to do a book and movie comparison. I really liked the movie when that came out, I think when I was in high school. My other probably priority series for this year is Era 2 of Red Rising, because I said I was going to read that in 2024 and I didn't get around to it. The next question is an author I won't continue reading, and this is no surprise for anyone who's watched any of my recent videos, but Haruki Murakami is an author that I will never read again. I attempted to read 1Q84 last year and was absolutely disgusted by the sexism throughout the book. So yeah, I'm just appalled that that is such a popular author. I won't be reading anything else that he publishes. The next question is something new that I want to read in 2025. I did have an entire video talking about my upcoming anticipated releases in 2025, but I found out about a release I'm really excited about after I put out that video, and that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read 2 other Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, and it's her most popular 2, so you can probably guess. It's The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, and I loved both of those books. I gave them 5 stars. The other books that she has in her backlist, their descriptions just don't appeal to me as much. They don't sound as interesting, but Atmosphere sounds exactly up my alley. It's about a woman who works at NASA in the early 1980s, and she is striving to become the first female astronaut, and that sounds awesome. I love space. I love NASA. I love historical women struggling against the odds type of stories. And I love badass women scientists. All of this just is it's checking all the boxes. Plus, I know I already love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. So Atmosphere is high on the list. The next question is a popular book that I want to read this year, and that is going to be Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This was a really, really popular book 2 years ago, I want to say, when it first came out. And this actually checks a lot of the same boxes I was just talking about with Atmosphere. It's historical women in a STEM field struggling against the odds. And so I was actually thinking about doing a Women in STEM vlog whenever Atmosphere comes out and reading these 2 in conjunction. I haven't figured out what I want the 3rd book to be in that vlog. So if you have a recommendation for what would be a good book to pair with Lessons in Chemistry and Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That would be like a kind of historical women in STEM book that you think is really good. I would love to hear about it. Then it asked for my most anticipated release of 2025. Once again, I had a whole video of anticipated releases. I don't know that I'm really looking forward to any over others. The one I'm reading right now is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and I'm loving it so far. But as for one still yet to come, I would say probably The Book That Held Her Heart by Mark Lawrence. It is the third and final book of the Library trilogy, and I've really been enjoying that series, so I'm excited to see how it's going to conclude. The next question is a bookish goal for 2025. I had 3 bookish goals, which I talked about in my goals video, but that is I want to read at least 8 classics. I want to read every book that I bought last year that I haven't had a chance to read yet, and I want to read at least 10 new releases. So I have a lot more goals that I talk about that are non-bookish related. If you want to see that in my goals video, I'll link it below. The next question is a book on your physical TBR that you'll probably never read, which is not a very nice question. I had picked up 2 though, for different reasons. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. This book is like 800 something pages long, 850 pages long, and it's like one of 15 or something books that are like equally as long. So I'm just really intimidated by this. I never would have bought it, but I found it in a little free library, and I was like, oh, I know, like my friends love this book and my mom loves this show. Like, I know I'm gonna probably really like this, but I'm too intimidated to pick it up. It's not a priority. So it might just sit on my shelf for several more years before I get around to it. The other one that I have on my shelf that I am not sure I'm gonna read is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. This had a lot of hype the year that it came out, but since then the trilogy has finished, and I've heard really mixed things about it and not a ton of like really positive reflections on the series overall. And it's YA as well, I believe, which I'm not really into YA at this point in my life, but I had picked it up because it sounded cool. But yeah, I'm not sure this is actually going to be for me, so I might just unhaul it at a little free library coming up soon. A series that I would like to read in 2025 is the next question, and probably my top priority series for this year is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. And I picked this copy up at Powell City of Books. I don't have the other 2 books yet, but I'm really hoping I'm gonna love this, and I just absolutely adore the cover. The next question is, who is your auto-buy author for 2025? And for me, it's R.F. Kuang. I have loved all 5 books that she has put out, the Poppy War trilogy, Babel, and Yellowface, even though they're all very different from each other. This year, her book is gonna be Catabasis, and I will definitely be buying it. The next question is a book to show adaptation that you're really excited about for this year, and I don't know of any, which is really sad. I had a few that I thought of was like, oh, maybe like season 2 of The 3 Body Problem on Netflix, because I thought they did a really good job with season 1. But when I Googled that, it's not coming out till 2026. And then I thought, well, maybe like season 2 of One Piece. I haven't read any One Piece, but I did enjoy season 1 on Netflix, and that also is not coming out till 2026. So I can't think of any. If you know of any great book to show or book to movie adaptations that are coming out this year, I would love to hear about it. The next question is a sequel that you're excited about this year, and for me that's going to be The Ashfire King by Chelsea Abdullah. This is the sequel to The Stardust Thief, and it was just a really cool book with desert and djinn and like a magical quest and magical artifacts. I just thought it was so much fun to read, and I really liked all the characters. So I'm really looking forward to see The Ashfire King when it comes out. Next one is bookish things I want to leave behind in 2024. I didn't really have anything specific for myself that I want to leave behind, but I will say I would like to see publishing leave AI behind in 2024. I feel like the rise of AI in publishing is just the red flag of the coming like downfall of the publishing industry. So yeah, I would love to not have AI cover art or AI writing or AI editing anymore in 2025. The next question is what you can expect from my channel this year. And for me, it's gonna be more themed vlogs. I already put out my like Under the Sea vlog in January. I'm working on 2 more vlogs right now. One of them witch themed and one of them cat themed. And I have at least a couple more planned for the first like 5 months of the year at least. I'm not sure, I don't have my plans that far out into the rest of the year, but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun around the idea of themed vlogs. That's something I'm looking forward to doing more of this year. The next question is, how has my reading taste evolved from last year? And I would say I'm trying to be a little more critical with my star ratings. So I think my overall like star rating on books, like my average rating, I guess, will probably go down this year. I think because, like I said, because I was so new to reading or reading again, picking up reading again as an adult when I first started my channel, I didn't have a lot of like genre knowledge of like what's overdone or what's underdone in the genre. And I was just like really wowed by a lot of the things that I was reading. And they were really great books. But now that I have read a lot more extensively, I have a lot more to compare to, and so I think I can be a little bit more critical and not just give everything a really high rating, and be a little more reflective on how a book made me feel and what it did and didn't do well. Not that I want to be harsh on books, but I'm hoping that I can more finely tune my real feelings on them with the star rating system. The next question is Booktube creators that inspire me, and there are so many. Really, honestly, yeah, there are so many booktubers that I look up to and like just really enjoy their content. Books and Lala, Kayla, I absolutely watch like every single video that she puts out, so she would probably be my number 1. Sid from Sid Bookworm, also a fave. Chandler Ainsley, even though I don't read any of the books that she reads because she's primarily a romance reader, I just love her as a person. I love her style. I feel invested in what's happening in her life. And so I think that's a talent to pull in someone who doesn't read like you do and still make them want to watch your videos. Elliot Brooks, I love her like Dear Writers from Readers series. I find those videos super fascinating. I love how she uses her channel to be the voice of her audience and not necessarily just always talk about her own opinions, although I really appreciate and value her opinions as well. But I feel like her videos are just really unique from across Booktube. But those are all like huge big time creators that you've probably heard of if you're also on Booktube. So I want to give a shout out to some of the smaller Booktubers that I really appreciate. Tori Talks is a creator that I really love watching her videos. I find I tend to agree with her a lot, and she has really insightful things to say. Literature Science Alliance, she's the one person who can like flash up a sci-fi book on the screen that I've absolutely never heard of and make me want to read it. Like usually it takes multiple people recommending a book before I'm like, okay, maybe I'll check that out. But if Literature Science Alliance for some reason talks about a book, I'm like, oh, that sounds really good, I want to read that. So she's just like, I don't know how she does it, she gets inside my brain. Another one that I really love is Being Daphne, and she is just so sweet, and I don't know, it's just something about her personality just like puts me in a good mood every time I watch her videos, even though we don't have a lot of overlap in our reading taste either. I just love Being Daphne. I wish I could hang out with her in real life. So those are some booktubers that I highly recommend. And then the very last question is, what would I tell someone who is interested in starting a Bookish account, like a Booktube channel, I guess? And I would say go for it. There's really no reason not to, I think. I don't have a lot of viewers on my channel, and I've been doing this for several years, and that's okay. I think it depends on why you want to get into doing this. For me, it's just because I love talking about books and no one in my life reads the types of books that I like, so I want to be able to talk about them. And for me, it's just a hobby. I don't aspire to be like a big time creator to do this full time. So I've learned so much. I have learned how to talk about books better. I've learned about video editing and creating thumbnails and graphic design. So I've really learned a lot of great skills from having this Booktube channel, and it's a really fun hobby for me. So I don't really see very many downsides, but I might have a video coming up soon where I do talk about the downsides of being a bookish creator, but really there aren't many. So I would say if you're interested in it, do it. I'd love to see you out here on the YouTubes. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. That was the last question of the video. So give me your women in STEM bookish recommendations down below. I'd love to hear about those. Please be kind, read books, and hit the subscribe button down below for more bookish content to come. I'll see you again soon.